Alright friend, let's talk plain. Let's talk heart to heart. Because when the narcissist steps out of your life, they don't really leave. Oh no, they pause. They circle. They wait. Like shadows lurking just outside the porch light. They don't walk away for good. They linger, hoping you'll crack the door open again, even just a little. And if you've been through it, really been through it, you know what I'm talking about. It's not just a breakup. It's a sulkwake. It's confusion wrapped in charm, pain tied up with apologies, chaos that came wearing a mask of connection. You didn't just lose a person. You lost your peace. But hear me on this. If you had the courage to walk away, if you had the strength to say, enough, I want you to know that was holy ground you stood on. That wasn't weakness. That was deliverance, the kind of victory heaven shouts about. You chose light. You chose clarity. And that's no small thing in a world that begs you to settle for counterfeit love. Yet for so many, the path wasn't so clear. You gave second chances. You prayed through the storms. You held on when every warning light screamed, let go. You patched what wasn't yours to fix, hoping something would bloom in all that ruin. But my dear soul, healing doesn't come through self-sacrifice. It comes through truth. See, when the narcissist says goodbye, they don't mean goodbye. They mean, wait here. I'll be back when I need more of you. It's not an ending. It's a bookmark. They're not grieving. They're regrouping. And while they reach for new supply, they're hoping you stay warm on the shelf, just in case. You were never just another name in their contact list. You were oxygen. You were gravity. You were the depth they couldn't replicate. And that, my friend, terrified them. Because love like that, real love, it demands honesty, it requires presence, and they weren't built for it. So instead they rewrite the story. They twist, they spin. They cast you as confused, too emotional, crazy, even. Not because you were, but because your clarity threatened their script. They needed to cloud your vision. Because someone's standing firm in the truth. That's a danger to manipulation. Now, don't waste your tears on the replacements. They're not chosen. They're recruited. They're drafted like extras in a play they don't know is rigged. And while it may look like you were replaced, know this: mirrors don't replace windows. They reflect what they don't reveal. What you gave was real. What they give, it's transactional. The narcissist doesn't want a reunion. They want access. Access to your mind, your heart, your energy. They want to stroll back into your life like it's still theirs. And they'll dress it up real nice. Talk of destiny, of growth, of missing what you had. But it's not love, it's leverage. And when they whisper those familiar words, no one ever got me like you did, or, I always felt safe with you. Pause. Breathe. That's not a confession. That's a hook. That's bait dipped in nostalgia. They don't want friendship. They want a foothold. A crack in the door. On a way to keep you looking over your shoulder, wondering if maybe, just maybe, things could be different this time. But listen here. You don't owe a heart that broke you another moment of your peace. You don't owe a return to a house built on sand. Let the door shut. Let it echo. Let it be the sound of resurrection, not regret. You didn't walk away because you stopped caring. You walked away because you finally started caring about yourself. And that is the one thing the narcissist never planned for. Now don't miss this, that revolving door they built. It wasn't loose by accident. It was designed to spin. They crafted it to never quite shut. A little guilt here, a little longing there. Enough to keep you tethered. Enough to make you second guess. But it's not your fault. If you carry a heart full of mercy, if you were raised to believe in redemption, if you've spent your life seeing the beauty in the broken, then you, my friend, were the light they studied like a roadmap. That the anthe isn't your flaw, it's your fire. But fire left unguarded, it draws in the coldest of souls. And the narcissist, oh, they know how to shiver convincingly. They wrap themselves in the language of pain. They play the part of the forsaken. They'll say all the right things at all the right times. But it's not confession, it's choreography. A performance. One written just for you, because they know how deeply you want to believe in healing. And they'll plant seeds early. You'll leave me, do they all do? And your heart, so determined to rewrite their story, will fight to prove you're different. You'll stay. You'll soothe. You'll fight for a bond they only pretended to protect. But you weren't in a relationship, you were in a rehearsal. You were acting opposite a ghost who memorized your lines. Let me walk you through this like we're sitting on a porch in the middle of a quiet, broken night. You sit there, heart in your hands, voice trembling like a candle in the wind, trying, really trying, to explain how deep their actions cut you. And just when you think maybe, Just maybe. They'll lean in, listen, and meet you in the place of truth. The narcissist spins the table. Suddenly it's not about what they did. It's about how you made them do it. Well, if you hadn't done this, I wouldn't have done that, and there it is. The trap. The twist. The rewrite of history. Before you can even catch your breath, you're apologizing for bleeding. And then, like clockwork, they pull out the costume. The ultimate trick the victim. Oh, they'll paint themselves as the one who's always been left. They always misunderstood. They'll cry about betrayal, about all the cruel souls who never gave them a chance. But here's what they'll never bring up. What they did, who they hurt, the bridges they set on fire and walked away from smiling. You're not talking to someone who's after healing. You're dancing with someone who's addicted to domination. Why? Because peace ends the performance. Peace means no more audience, no more spotlight, no more power. And power, that's the only language the narcissist truly speaks. If they can keep you dizzy, spinning in circles, second-guessing your truth, doubting your worth, they win. Not because they love the chaos, but because you can't leave when you're confused. And friend, let me make something clear. This was never about friendship. You can't be friends with someone who poisons the well and then drinks from it with a smile. Who hugs you with arms that carry knives. This was about one thing, and one thing only, access. Control disguised as closeness. The moment you become a revolving door, you've handed them the keys to your soul. And they will use it, again and again. So let me say this in love but with steel in my spine. You are not doorway. You are a temple. Set apart. And temples don't open themselves to thieves in the night. I know. Your heart still wants answers. You want to understand. You want to know why it all went so wrong. And it's not weakness. That longing, it's humanity. You poured love, time, your very breath into this. Of course you want closure. But I need to tell you something. Closure doesn't come from their mouth. It comes from your decision. And that decision begins in silence. Ignore them, not out of spite, but out of strength. Because your healing, it needs room. Your clarity, it needs distance. And the longer you stay tied to their noise, the harder it becomes to hear your own voice. After the discard, after the storm, you might not trust your instincts anymore. That's normal. Trauma scrambles the compass. What once pointed true now spins wild. So when I say, go silent, I don't mean play games. I mean save your life. That door they keep cracked open. You don't have to walk through it ever again. You can close it. You should close it. And here's the beautiful part. You hold the key. Now let me speak to that soft, aching place inside you. There's still a whisper in you, isn't there? That gentle voice that says, maybe this can still be saved. It tells you that if you could just reach them, just explain one more time, they might finally see. I know that voice. It sounds like hope, but right now it's a hope aimed in the wrong direction. Because this is the moment when you have to walk in the opposite direction of your instinct. Every fiber in you might be reaching back. But you've got to turn around. You've got to walk away, even if your knees shake. Why? Because that longing in you, that wasn't born in peace. It was born in the storm. You were shaped in the chaos. And it makes sense that you're searching for calm. But don't go back to the fire thinking it'll feel like home. Not every heart is built to make peace with yours. And the narcissist, they never wanted peace. They wanted control. They fed on your softness. They studied your empathy. They danced in your light. And when it got too bright, they lashed out. If this is the first time you've heard this spelled out so clearly, if you feel like your heart just exhaled for the first time in months, then let me say this. You're waking up, you're seeing the storm for what it is, you're stepping into truth. And truth, friend, is holy ground. Let me tell you this as plain as I can. You were never too much. You were never unlovable. You were never weak. The discard wasn't a reflection of your value. It was a reaction to your power. You showed them something they didn't know how to handle. Maybe it was your joy. Maybe it was your strength. Maybe, just maybe, it was that you dared to love them without needing to bow. And that scared the hell out of them. At the start it felt like worship, didn't it? They hung on every word. Made you feel like the sun. But that wasn't love. It was consumption. They weren't loving you. They were feeding on you. And when the supply started to feel too familiar, too grounded, too real, they changed. The praise became punishment. The smile became a weapon. Why? Because pain became their currency. And discarding you, that was just business as usual in their twisted economy. But make no mistake, they don't want you gone. They want you chasing. One hand pushes you away. The other leaves the door open. Because it's not about reconnection. It's about control. And the only way to break that spell, the only way to win this war, is through silence. Not cold, not bitter, sacred silence. Protective silence, the kind of silence that says, I no longer accept chaos in the place of love. So when I say ignore them, I mean it in your bones. Don't watch their stories. Don't refresh their page. Don't reread old messages searching for signs. Don't wonder if that cryptic caption was about you. Let the tether break, because what still feels like love? It's not, it's trauma, it's chemistry crafted in a storm, and the only medicine is distance. Let me talk to the soul that still whispers, but I love them, maybe. I still do. Hey, there's no shame in that. That's not weakness, that's proof your heart still beats. That love once lived in you, and maybe, somewhere in the quiet, it still echoes. But listen closely, this next step you're being called to take. It's not about getting them to finally see how much you were worth. It's about you remembering that you were priceless all along. And here's the truth that stings before it sets you free sometimes. At the very first moment the narcissist truly feels your worth is the moment you go silent. Not because they've had some grand awakening, not because they've discovered what love is, no. It's because the faucet ran dry. The supply stopped flowing, and suddenly, the one who gave without limit, who poured out like a river, isn't there to drink from anymore. But don't you dare mistake that emptiness in them for love. That isn't longing. It's withdrawal. That's not a revelation, it's craving. And craving is not love, it never has been. So yes, your absence will echo in their hollow places. But this isn't your cue to go back. This isn't the beginning of a beautiful reunion. It's the chance to end the ruin for good, because what waits on the other side of their return is always the same: more games, more wounds, more unraveling. Silence might make them notice, but it's not for them. It's for you, for your healing, for the stillness your soul has been begging for the return of your dignity, the kind that was knit into your being by a God who makes no mistakes. When you shut the gates of your mind, when you refuse to let them colonize your peace anymore, something sacred begins to stir. You start to heal, you begin to rebuild, you remember who you are. And maybe, just maybe, you've done this before. Maybe you've left, then circled back, hoping that this time would be different. That's okay. All it means is that your heart was still learning its lesson. But now, beloved, is the time to stop dancing in circles. Now is the time to say, This is where the cycle ends. Let them feel what it's like without your light. Not because you want vengeance, but because only in your absence can you finally breathe again. And while they sit with the hollowness they helped create, you'll be choosing something they never expected: life over loops, truth over trauma, wholeness over familiar pain. You hold the key now, so close the door. And this time, don't look back. Here's something not everyone will say to you, but I will. Your absence matters. It matters because it interrupts the narrative. The narcissist lives inside a story where the world bows to their wounds. People come running when they snap. They discard, and they expect you to chase. It's not just what they hope for, it's what they depend on. So when you don't, when you walk out and don't return, not with fire, but with finality, that silence is louder than every scream they've ever heard. You just tore a page from their playbook, and they don't have a backup plan. Now maybe you're thinking, I don't even care if they notice. I just want to be done. I want peace. Good. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. But still, they're reckoning. It matters. Because consequences are a language few narcissists ever learn. They've walked through life thinking souls are disposable. Thinking they can swap one heart for another, like switching seats at a table. But when you stop showing up, when you break the pattern, you teach a lesson they didn't see coming: you are not replaceable. Now, will it change them? Probably not. The true change for someone that deep in deception requires a reckoning only heaven can orchestrate. A collapse of ego so total it leaves nothing but rubble and truth. And yes, that's rare. Miracles happen. But you, dear one, are not required to wait around for theirs. You are the miracle now. In your own life, in your own body, in your own rising. Don't stay in shame. Don't live in the rubble. The very fact that you see clearly now, that's your breakthrough. That's the day the fog lifted. That's when heaven looked down and said, Wes, now they're waking up. Right now you are walking through sacred ground. A holy undoing. A soul detox. You're not unraveling, you're becoming. Everything that was false is falling away, and what remains? That's the real you. Unshaken, unbent, unbowed. So here it is. Plain and true. Don't give them your attention. Don't take the bait. Don't look back at the burning bridge as if it was ever safe to cross. Let the missed calls pile up. Let the cryptic posts fade into static. Let the whisper campaigns die in silence. All of it is bait. Let the line go limp. Don't swim backward. Keep walking. Because I promise you, life away from that chaos. It's a gift that doesn't glitter at first, but in time it gleams. In the mornings where your chest doesn't ache. In the nights where your mind finally rests. In the laughter that rings clear, not filtered through fear. One day you'll wake up, look around, and realize, this is what life is supposed to feel like. Not perfect but honest. Not always easy but yours. And if you've made it this far with me, I need you to hear this loud and clear. I'm proud of you. Not because you handled it perfectly, but because you chose to heal. Because you stood up, heart still bruised, and said, deserve better than this? So yes, let them feel your absence. But even more, feel your presence again. Thank you for showing up today. If you found this message in the middle of your valley, I hope it helped light your way out. And if it did, pass it on. Share it. Let someone else know they're not alone in the wreckage. Like, comment, subscribe. Sure. But more than anything, keep choosing your freedom. I'll meet you again soon. Until then, walk tall, heal deep, and don't you ever forget you are worth every ounce of love they couldn't carry.